Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Latino Vote TV. Here we are at the Bob Bullock Museum at the TAMACC Legislative Reception. We're having a great time here, and we ran into an old dear friend, Senator Gonzalo Barrientos, and we want to get his opinion on the Latino vote and what we need to do to get more voters out there. So tell me what you think so far of this little reception here, Gonzalo.
Well, it's a great facility. I remember voting on the funds to appropriate the money for this great facility, and no greater visitors than the Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce and the leadership who is here.
So basically, it took a little while to build this, but it's built and it's doing good, correct?
Oh, it has a lot of history, a lot of culture, a lot of stories to it, and anyone in Texas, but especially the rest of the country, ought to come and see it. This is Texas. Absolutely.
And I take it, of course, your relationship with Mr. Bullock was well known and well renowned. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We worked together for about 20 years, más o menos, and I was elected to the Senate. He was elected Lieutenant Governor of the state of Texas, and that's the person who is president of the Senate when the senators elect him. So he ran the Senate. He was one of the 3 lieutenant governors that I worked with.
Now, there was mention during the presentation regarding when Bush was governor and when Bullock, was doing his thing, and he was a great leader. Would you say there was a good balance there at that time when all that was happening?
Well, let's say they understood each other and they tried to work together. And I tried to work with both of them.
Absolutely. And let's face it, back then a lot of things were happening, a lot of things were moved forward. Now we're into this economic situation. Everybody's concerned about one major thing, the job situation. How do you see how legislation can help the jobs situation with the economy, and where does Texas stand with all that?
Well, from the local level to the state level to Washington, we got to understand that we need more public servants instead of politicians.
Gotcha.
When we get public servants up there that care about the people, not just their pockets or whether they're going to be in the White House one day, then we'll start dealing with the people's problems. We are here under a divine guidance, after all, and we are here to care for our brothers and sisters. And in our country, we should have the best care for everybody. Everybody make money, everybody have a job. You don't have to send all the jobs over the ocean in somebody else's country that pays a nickel or 2 a day. But
the outsourcing you're talking about.
Absolutely, the outsourcing. I understand it's a world economy more and more, but we also got to take care of our country, our Americans, our people.
So basically, as true Americans, we all work together, not divide each other, correct?
Well, we're in the same boat.
That's exactly right. Speaking about the same boat, rolling back to the Latino vote, what do you think needs to be done to get more of the youth, to get the people back to the patriotic attitude of getting out there to rally the votes and to get things going?
Well, I don't mean to sound like a conservative, but it all begins at home. It begins with mom and dad. They have a responsibility to raise those children, make sure they go to school, make sure they get an education. That way they can get good jobs and serve the rest of our country. If it doesn't start there, then the government can come in a little bit and help. But the government cannot do everything. Como raza, we have to do it ourselves. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're rich or poor. It comes from the family. It comes from the heart and wanting to do it. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. John Kennedy.
Absolutely. I agree with that totally. And what I'm concerned about is the youth today. They seem to have a different attitude about voting. They talk about electrics and this other thing that, hey, is our vote going to do any good? What do you have to say to those people like that are pessimistic about voting?
Every vote counts. You just got to make sure that you know who you're voting for, what you're voting for, get an education, and make sure that you're part of the decision. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And if you're a young man or a young woman is 18 years old, say, I want to vote. I want my vote to count. And the parents, again, and the adults around them have to say, it's worth it. We got to change something. If you don't like it, ask yourself, are you complaining about something that you intend to do nothing about?
Right, exactly. In other words, get off the fence and get in the game, pretty much, right?
That's it. We got it pretty darn good in our country. There's so many of us and our kids who are a little complacent. We got too much goodies. You know?
Right. So they're kind of brought up in a generation where they might be just a little too comfortable and they don't understand the sacrifices that were made before them, correct?
Absolutely. We walk on the shoulders of great men and women before us for hundreds and hundreds of years. Some of us who are part native and part Spanish, we have to help those people who come afterwards and are in our need, are in poverty. We've got to break the cycle of poverty. We got to break the cycle of poverty of the pocket as well as poverty of the mind. So we can only do that by believing in each other. God bless America.
Basically, that's it. I mean, what do you say about these people that come from the other countries, or we call well known as first arrivals, right? They come and start waving the Mexican flag or the Puerto Rican flag and everything. What do we have to tell them to understand as true Americans where we stand?
God bless the world. God bless all the countries. This is the United States of America. My flag is the American flag, and my Texas flag is right here. You want to wave another country's flag here, it sends the wrong message. You want to come to this country, become a citizen, do it the right way, and try to get somebody to help you and become an American. Learn English, obey the laws, and succeed.
Basically, stand for what we stand for as a united front for this great nation, and understand we're American first, American Latinos are what it's all about. We're out to help anybody that wants to become an American, but let's do it the right way. Is that right?
Do it the right way, obey the laws, follow the teachings of your divine guidance, y ahí vamos, juntos.
That's exactly right. We're excited about this year's election and what's happening and all the revelry that's going on, the economic development. How do you feel about this whole Formula One thing and the fracking and all the economic impact that Texas is experiencing right now?
Texas has always been a little bit better off economically for a lot of reasons. We've got great geography, the resources of our land.
Beautiful countryside.
Beautiful countryside. You know, we got from hot to cool in the area, but we've got to take care of our environment. In terms of F1 and fracking and all that, we got to study it a little bit more. F1 is great to see, but I like to see the government dollars go to help people and children first.
Absolutely. In other words, anything that's going to boost the economy, start jobs, and make sure that we're helping the youth and the elderly to move along and to support them as far as economically speaking.
Ahí vamos.
That's right. I can't thank you enough, Gonzalo. You've been, always a pool of information. I got one question. Being a politician, as long as you've been, we're talking about, what, 30, 40 years already?
Yeah, I was in the House 10 years and 21 in the Senate.
30 years. That's like flew by for you. As a 30-year experienced politician, how do you see the future of everything that's happening in Texas with Latino senators and Latino politicians?
It's tough, but we have to get more public servants, not more politicians, into office. We have to get younger people involved and wanting to run for office, people who have a multicultural sense, from languages, la lengua de Los Angeles,
right.
English, of course, is the language of our country, and just try again.
So basically, let's get out there, support each other, try to get out the vote. One last closing statement. What would you give to everybody as far as advice of what we can do for each other to get out that Latino vote?
It starts here. If you're a mom or a dad, or you're a camarada or somebody, go out and get 5 of your friends, just 5. Everybody who watches this, get 5 people and go and take them to vote. And tell them to get 2 people and then 1 person. Go from there. That's the way it works.
So anyway, you're saying is basically get out your friends, do a little junta, go out there and vote, and keep rallying the people to do that and to be proud to be doing that, because it's a privilege to vote, correct?
Get used to it. If you don't vote, you're letting other people make the decisions for you. For example, the budget for the state of Texas, $100 billion or more. If you want somebody else to make decisions on how to spend that, don't vote.
I got you. So in other words, if you want to direct the money to where it needs to be done, you got to go out and vote and support each other and get the vote out.
That's right. And you vote for people who are smart, who are experienced, who have a good heart, and use your gut instinct sometimes, and then tell them to produce.
In other words, make them responsible for their commitments, and before and after the election, they have to follow through.
Yeah, you don't get elected to go up there and look pretty or look handsome or dress good and be the big shot. You get up there to serve, period.
For the general people, not for self-serving agendas, correct?
Absolutely. You got to help the brothers and sisters. You don't want to do that? go off and do something else.
That's exactly right, Senator. Thank you once again. You've been marvelous. We look forward to some more conversations in the future. And thanks for coming out to Latino Vote TV.
Ahí vamos.
All right. Thank you.
Come and gig 'em.
That's it. Thanks, Senator.